No. His face changed. A look of pure, unadulterated shock crossed his features. He says there's been a mistake. It was Ravel. The researchers got it wrong. He says I can take the 50,000 and go back on the show. Rodney leaped up. Yes, I knew it. I'm a genius. But Dendel's expression shifted. He heard something in the background, the faint, unmistakable sound of a jukebox playing Hooky Street in the Nag's Head. Wait a minute, Del growled. Nicky Pierce, you little rat, I'll kick your arse into shredded duck. He slammed the phone down. Was it him? Rodney asked, his hopes crumbling. It was Mickey, Del sighed, the ultimate wind-up. He looked at his family, his brother, his wife, his son. They were all there. They were broke. They were bankrupt. And they were the laughing stock of the borough. But as Del looked out the window at the rain-slicked streets of Peckham, he felt a familiar warmth in his chest. Don't worry, he said, putting an arm around Rodney. This time next year, we'll be millionaires. We were millionaires last week, Rodney cried. Details, Rodney, Del said, a grin finally breaking through. Just details. Now, get your suit on. We've got a suitcase to fetch from the van. I've heard a rumor about a consignment of digital organizers. They're vibrant, Rodney. Pure raison d'etre. As the credits rolled in his mind, Derek Trotter knew one thing for certain. As long as there was a deal to be made and a brother to wind up, the Peckham Phoenix would always find a way to fly. Chapter 9, The Glass House and the Peacocks. To understand the pain of the present, one had to truly grasp the absurdity of the past. 3 years earlier, the Trotter family had lived in a world where the primary concern was whether the peacocks on the front lawn were getting enough vitamin C. Del had purchased a riverside estate in Berkshire that looked like something out of The Great Gatsby, provided Gatsby had been a street trader from Peckham who liked a bit too much gold plating. There were marble floors that were so slippery Raquel had to wear grippy socks, and a chandelier in the hallway that was so large it had its own weather system. Look at this, Rotters, Del had shouted, gesturing to the sweeping views of the Thames. A man of my stature needs a river. It provides ambience. Rodney, living in a separate but equally lavish wing with Cassandra, had initially tried to maintain his man-of-the-people persona. It was hard to complain about the plight of the working class when you were eating caviar off a silver platter while a man named Benson, who was actually just a local lad Del hired to wear a tuxedo, polished your BMW. It's too much, Del, Rodney had argued during one of their many executive lunches at a 5-star hotel in London. We're losing touch with our roots. I walked past a Greg's yesterday, and I felt like a stranger. Roots, Del had laughed, adjusted a diamond cufflink. Roots are for trees. Rodney, we're birds of paradise. We've flown the nest. We've achieved the dream. The dream included Cassandra's parents, who were horrified and fascinated in equal measure. Her father, Alan, had spent many an evening trapped in the gold-roomed smoking lounge, listening to those plans to buy the moon and lease it back to NASA. But the centerpiece of their wealth had been the Central American venture. Dell had been convinced by a man with a very expensive tan and a very suspicious accent that the future of the world's economy lay in a small, unstable republic. Vibrant, Rodney. That's the word. It's a ground floor opportunity. We're not just investors, we're nation builders. When the market crashed, it wasn't a gentle slide. It was a plunge into an abyss. The Berkshire estate, with its peacocks and marble floors, was gone in a week. The Bensons of the world were fired, and the Yellow Capri, which had been sitting in a climate-controlled garage like a holy relic, was once again their only means of transport. The transition back to Nelson Mandela House was like waking up from a dream and finding out you were sleeping on a park bench. The silence of the riverside was replaced by the constant thrum of Peckham Life the Sirens, the shouting, and the rhythmic clink of the milkman. Chapter 10. Iconoclastic Autosuggestion. The bedroom hiccups Rodney had mentioned to Justin were more than just minor glitches. They were the result of a man who had been a millionaire one day and a bankrupt plonker the next. The stress had manifested in a strange, psychological blockage that Cassandra was determined to fix. It's about memory baggage, Rodney, Cassandra explained one evening, clutching a magazine called Psychology for the Modern Couple. We need to unload it. We need to become different people. Rodney, sitting on the edge of the bed in his pajamas, looked skeptical. Different people. I'm already trying to be a managing director during the day. How many more roles do I have to play? It's called fantasy therapy, she said, her eyes shining with hope. We write down our fantasy figures, and then, for just one night, we become them. No baggage. No history, just us, reborn. Rodney sighed. And does this involve dressing up? Absolutely not. She lied. It's all in the mind. We suspend reality. 2 days later, Rodney found himself standing in the living room, wearing a leather tunic that was 3 sizes too small and a pair of sandals that made his feet look like hairy paddles. He was supposed to be Russell Crowe's Gladiator. I look like Spartacus with piles, Cassandra, he shouted toward the bedroom. Cassandra emerged, dressed in a full Metropolitan Police uniform, complete with a hat and a radio. I thought you liked the bill, she said, adjusting her belt. I like watching it. I don't want to be arrested by it, Rodney protested. This isn't autosuggestion. This is a costume party for 2. The evening was a disaster of epic proportions. Every time Rodney tried to unleash the beast, the itchy wool of the tunic or the clinking of Cassandra's handcuffs broke the spell. To make matters worse, Dell kept knocking on the door, asking if they'd seen